Hey everybody, it's Chris Shubert from CNSG back with another edition of the Zoom, where we zoom in on thought leaders in the channel today. My guest today is Vice President of Master Agents, Ms. Jennifer Orr of Mitel. Hey Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi Chris, thanks so much for having me here today.
So as we always like to start, we want to learn a little bit about you. Now, you've been in your role at Mitel a comparatively short time, joining as the VP of Master Agents, but you have been in the channel for quite a while. So tell us a little bit about your background and what fired you up about joining the Mitel team.
Sure, yeah. So I started in the channel, a long time ago, 15 plus years, background in contact center. So started at one of those companies, maybe 9 years, kind of got a background and feel of the channel when the channel wasn't really established for any of those businesses yet. So I think I was able to learn a lot of what doesn't work more than, what did. And then subsequently, a few other contact center companies. When I was looking at, and those backgrounds, I was saying Contact, Cernova, Corvisa, which brought me from an acquisition of Corvisa to ShoreTel for a short stint, and now back to Mitel. So I feel it's a full circle, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But what really attracted me to Mitel when I was looking, I wanted to find a home that really understands the channel well. I've been at a few other companies. It's really hard to internally help people who haven't had that experience to really understand how to set up the internal infrastructure, support those partners. So that was really important to me. I just felt like I want to go somewhere where they have a basis for that. And also the culture of Mitel, the way that the people treated me, the way they're collaborating, the team, the depth and experience is exciting. And I haven't even met John Lindsley, who is our channel chief, until last channel partners. And we met each other and we thought, how do we not know each other? We're just kind of meeting him, understand what he had done and how I could help and really kind of bring circle into that experience of that master agent. It's just a great fit. So the people, the culture, and all of this was won me over as other companies actually more seriously.
Great answer. So let's talk a little bit about your role as the VP of Master Agents. Now, of course, you can admit that CNSG is your favorite, and I completely understand that. I'm not going to put you on the spot on that, but we all know the truth.
Right.
But that being said, tell us about the role of the Master Agent today and where you feel that fits in the channel.
Sure. In working with our different master agencies, so my team, I have, 6, 7 people on my team who support each master agent or a couple at a time. And what we really want to do is we're more of a strategic role. So really looking at those master agents and how we can trickle down to the sub agents as far as, how we're planning, are there international components, what is our strategy from an education perspective, and really helping drive more business value. So we look at our masters to be those strategic partners with us and help us understand what their partners need so we can then work with our entire channel team and all of our support teams to help really drive that to execution.
And we appreciate you doing that. We've got a fantastic team led by Laura Buttimer heading up the CNSG relationship.
We do.
So turning back the clock a little bit, we've both been in this channel a little bit of time, and we can all remember pre-hosted VoIP or UCaaS. And back in those days, the real titans, the names that you knew were Avaya, ShoreTel, and Mitel. Now, as time has gone on, we know what's happened to the other ones, either by acquisition by you or by very odd different things happening. Let's leave it at that. Mitel has emerged as one of the true leaders in UCaaS, and you were very focused on the future and the fact that you actually evolved into UCaaS quickly and made the decision to go full boat UCaaS instead of really holding on to that premise-based services for maybe longer than you should have, which you could argue some of the other folks did. Why has that future focus been so important to Mitel? And what is Mitel's sweet spot in 2020?
I mean, it's so important because I think Mitel saw that before. Although, like you mentioned, they have a big base of on-prem customers. understanding and having their pulse on, what was happening in the future and really making those transitions. I think they were successful because they put that plan in place sooner and really execute on it. I think, though, having that background, a sweet spot of Mitel, is that they understand that transition from that on-site business to the cloud. And, that's a large majority of businesses today. We talk about the cloud, but if we look at a lot of the customers and how they have their UCaaS or PBX set up, it's a lot of on-site. So we understand when they have multi-locations or they have that on-site, we understand their PBX features and functionality a lot. We understand what's really important to them to move that to the cloud space. And I think that just comes from our experience and background. So we're really able to kind of hold their hand, and our customers really rely on us to do that. That sweet spot and looking for that business that's on-site, which is there a lot of it, is really where Mitel shines. And then, as we look into the cloud migrations, just having that background makes it even simpler for us, right? We've done this before so many times in our history. And then a lot of our cloud migration, what's built into our pricing model includes collaboration and integrations and things that might not be natively within the pricing structure for other companies. We include all of it. So we make it easy. And I think that integration, that implementation, the fact that there's no surprises really makes those companies want to work with us in those sweet spots.
A key takeaway from that I think was interesting is sometimes we talk about companies that are born in the cloud, and those companies sometimes accentuate that. It's like, we're born in the cloud, which means we know better than the companies that have been around here for a long time. Mitel's knowledge is different. Yes, you've got an amazing cloud offering. Heck, you were one of the first companies that I ever literally actually taught me about what contact center was Mitel back in the day. But at the same time, you understand the premise-based model. And as much as UCaaS continues to grow year over year, we still haven't even hit the 50% mark, let alone the 60% mark of market share versus premise-based systems. So there's still a lot of conversion left to do.
There really is. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I mean, having that experience and being able to understand both sides of the business truly puts us at a unique advantage to have those conversations.
So staying on the topic of differentiators, obviously you've got, your both feet in both worlds between premise-based and next generation UCaaS. But I always like to ask, suppliers, what do you feel Mitel does better than anybody else? What are your top differentiators?
I would say channel first, channel only. As Mitel does not have a direct team, we always start with that because that's huge for our partners. Everything that we do, every conversation that we have is built on the fact that we're thinking about our partners. So that's really big. One of those reasons that drove me here. Our end-to-end Mitel solution is very unique, from our handsets to our collaboration tools. It's all Mitel. Although, we have third-party integrations, everything is built on our platform. And that the result of that is the ease of use for our customers. I think another differentiator is that in our Google relationship, a lot of people say that they're in GCP or because they ride on their infrastructure. But what makes it very unique for Mitel is that Google actually provided us engineers to work with alongside of them. We are built into the code fabric of their platform itself. And I think that just makes a whole different level of partnership and the abilities that we can have, for the security, the capability, the innovation. So that's really exciting for us. I would say our implementation, we assign project managers to every single implementation that really helps the customers get off to a great start. And also the fact that we don't bill until a customer is completely live and activated. A lot of times, people start to get billed upon 30 days or, as they go through the process. But that makes great for us because some businesses take a lot longer. They might have large implementations or larger customers. So that makes it a unique situation when Mitel says, hey, we're not going to start charging you till you feel like you're ready and ready to continue on with your business. And then that piece that I told you about before, our people. Our people are amazing. Our teams are amazing at Mitel. And I know that's the intangible but anybody who's worked with us will probably tell you the same thing.
Well, it's one thing I can agree with as well. As I mentioned, Laura, already, CNSG has a crack team of wonderful folks from Mitel that work with us on a day-to-day basis. And partners, listen to this. Everything Jennifer's saying, I'm not challenging her because this it's all 100% true. One of the things we love about Mitel is we have a company with a brand name, with one of the largest install bases in the world, arguably the largest install base in the world. I'm sure some folks would argue, would scream and rant on one area or the other, but and they've got a quality product. They own both sides of it. They've got the UCaaS and the CCaaS portion. And from a network standpoint, well, it's pretty hard to have more of or have a better network than one that's tied into the Google Cloud platform. So you just really, you're hitting on all cylinders when you're dealing with the Mitel crew.
Yeah, and one thing you touched on that I wanted to just briefly mention, Chris, is that a lot of times Mitel people think about Mitel just for the phones or the collaboration, but we do have contact center capabilities built into our MyCloud Connect solution, and then also over the top with our CX. So I think we are also positioning and helping partners understand that you can think of Mitel when it comes to contact center, and we have a lot of availabilities to help you. So that's exciting and kind of played with my background as I came over to Mitel as well.
Yeah, and you match that with some industry-leading spiffs and pricing that is right in there with where you need to be in today's competitive environment. And you've got a real winner in Mitel that will stack up against some of the biggest names in the industry. So encourage our partner community to definitely, if you haven't tried Mitel recently, or if you still think of them as a name of the past, get with the team. They are next gen, and they're bringing some big victories to the CNSG community. Speaking on that, let's talk about this very interesting year that we're in. When we started the Zooms a couple months back, we were talking about case studies, and the case studies were great case studies. They were fine. They were fantastic. Multi-site retail chains, restaurant chains, government entities, big name companies. But now as we've moved into the second quarter, obviously we know what we're facing here as an industry, and we actually have a very unique case study built around that. What can you tell us about Mitel and how you were able to help a customer in responding to the COVID-19 crisis?
Yeah, it was really exciting for us. There's a city in Florida, a government city, and they had required everybody shut down all the buildings, the offices in the next 48 hours. So everybody was scrambling, and how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? They had needed to take hotline calls, etc., secure calls, all of that. So came to Mitel, we had conversations with them, and we were able to turn them up and provide full capabilities within 1 week of their needs. So they were able to, with a pop-up contact center, they were able to route those hotline calls. We were able to have the service for their internal employees to work and talk and collaborate. So it was a real thing that we could do that within a week to full capabilities. They were just blown away at the response from Mitel in helping them with the situation.
And that's typically, you hear stories about speed of response and niche implementations and getting folks up and quickly. That's a lot of times those are the stories reserved for alternative providers, smaller companies that are considered to be more nimble. Mitel's an 800-pound gorilla, and they can still move that fast and still get those things done for their customers. And that's a heck of a good story that would apply whether it's crisis mode or not.
Really is. And then we've seen other city and government entities in the same, they just didn't have a contingency plan for any virus or any work at home solution. So having those conversations, we have several others, not just in the US, but internationally, who had the same type of story that Mitel's been able to help them with. So we're very proud and excited to, implement our technology to help these companies stay in business and, have a safe place to work, as well as help their communities and continue taking those important calls.
Well, Jennifer, this has been an absolutely fun edition of the Zoom. I'm very excited to have you on here. Any final words that you'd like to leave the CNSG channel community with? What do you want them to remember about Mitel?
I do. All the things we talked about, but also kind of how do I work with Mitel? How do I engage? As you mentioned, Laura Buttermers, our national channel manager that covers CNSG with you. She's one of the best. She'll help bring in all those resources and anything that anyone needs. So I'm sure her contact info is on your internal sites. People can find her. But also, Mitel, in talking about being the market leaders, having done this for over 45 years, we've helped people before. We continue to help people during this virus, but it's not really any different than we've done, because it's kind of in our wheelhouse of how we help customers every day. But we do have some exciting promos that we're offering, and it really kind of shows we're in touch with what's going on out there in the world. But Mitel is saying, hey, if you have a customer, if any of our partners have customers, we're not going to charge them. We're going to turn up the solution, and we're not going to charge them until January of 2021. So kind of staying in touch and helping those companies as they're worried about their finances, being able to do that is really exciting. And for our partners who say, hey, what about me? That's a long time away to get paid. We're going to offer them a 2-time spiff right away, and then another 1-time spiff on the back end when that starts billing in January, along with that monthly recurring revenue. So we're just really excited about this. We just launched it last week on Friday, and we're getting it out to the partner community to say you can add value with your customers by helping them, and we can partner together with Mitel and you.
Well, that is a unique program, and kudos to Mitel for coming up with that, because we've gotten a lot of unique requests, invoice deferrals and credits and the likes in the wake of the crisis. But for you guys to step up and utilize your power as, again, that 800-pound gorilla, say, hey, we're not going to invoice you until January of 2021 to allow you a chance to not only use our services, but get through this crisis. That's a huge way to help the community, which is, as many folks know, I'm very passionate about, as well as I've railed on some of the folks that have been chasing ambulances. That's not what you're doing. You're actually being a helper to the community, and we thank you for that.
Yeah, no, we're excited. We want to be part of that solution, like you said, and we think it's a win-win for everybody. So we can't wait to get it out there and for people to be able to utilize this promotion.
Well, and I guarantee you they will. Jennifer, thank you so much for being a guest on the Zoom. And for the rest of y'all, we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.